Welcome to another 10-minute relaxing history with the sleepy archaeologist. In this episode, we'll be exploring the reign of one of England's most terrible kings, King John. Born in 1166 and died in 1219, King John is widely remembered for his failures and missteps. He is often cast in the shadows of history as the worst king England has ever known. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. In this episode, we will look at 3 of the least terrible achievements of England's most terrible king. 1. The foundation of English common law. First, we begin with something that might be surprising: the development of English common law. While King John's reign is often remembered for his strained relationship with the barons, there was a significant achievement in legal history during his time on the throne. Partly due to the barons' grievances with John, his primary contribution to English common law was the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. This document, while initially intended to address specific grievances of the barons against the king, established key legal principles that shaped the development of common law. So in a way, even though due to his being terrible under John, the roots of the common law system we know today were sown. These legal reforms helped streamline the royal courts and create a more unified legal framework across the kingdom. The concept of common law, wherein laws were made by judges and applied uniformly, began to take shape during his reign. This would later evolve into the system that governs not only England, but many parts of the world today. Though largely due to his reign being a mess, King John's contribution to the legal system cannot be dismissed, having laid the groundwork for the rule of law in England. 2. The strengthening of the English Navy. Next, we turn our attention to King John's contribution to the Navy. At a time when England was facing mounting threats, particularly from France, John saw the necessity of a strong maritime force. Though he is more famous for his losses, it's often forgotten that he worked to strengthen the English Navy during his reign. While his efforts may not have been the grand naval feats of later monarchs, King John made strides in ensuring that England's navy could hold its own. John began maintaining a number of large ships in the king's own name, moving away from relying solely on borrowed or levied ships from merchants and fishermen. He established the office of the Keeper of the King's Ships, the first indication of a naval administration, which would later evolve into the Clerk of the King's Ships. King John also ordered shipyards to build new vessels and established the Portsmouth Naval Base as a key location for naval development and operations. By the end of 1204, King John had acquired 45 large ships, with an average of 4 new ones added each year. Finally, John created an admiralty, appointing 4 admirals responsible for overseeing different aspects of the Navy. His reign saw the establishment of the infrastructure that would later enable England to dominate the seas in centuries to come. Expanded on in the 16th century by Henry VIII, with the Royal Navy becoming the world's most powerful navy by the mid-18th century, and maintaining that position until the mid-20th century. 3. Nottingham Castle, fortification and legacy. And finally, we arrive at Nottingham Castle, a place where many kings' legacies are still physically etched into the landscape of England. But we cannot forget the contributions of John and his family. Nottingham Castle was originally built by the Normans in 1068, and it had stood for over a century before his reign. After the signing of the Magna Carta, John further strengthened Nottingham's defenses and also used the castle as a treasury. Later, John's son, Henry III, would again add to the castle's buildings by constructing twin towers to protect the outer gate, expanded the residential areas of the castle, and modernized the royal lodgings. In an age of unrest, albeit much of it caused by him. John and his family knew the importance of holding key fortresses. Nottingham Castle, strategically located and a symbol of royal power, was reinforced and rebuilt to withstand the turbulent times. Its ramparts, still standing today, tell a story of monarchs who understood the value of strongholds. Though not the most spectacular of his deeds, King John's and later his son's efforts to fortify Nottingham Castle helped ensure that the monarchy had a secure place from which to reign over the Midlands. Today, the castle remains an enduring symbol of his reign, a testament to his attention to the kingdom's defense, even if it was for his own safety. So now our journey concludes. King John may not be remembered fondly, but even in the shadows of his failures, there were moments where his decisions shaped the future in ways that continue to echo through history. From his contributions to English law to his strengthening of the navy and the fortification of Nottingham Castle, there were some not so terrible glimmers. However, let us be clear, this is not to condone the many, many terrible aspects of King John's reign, his many failures, his tyranny and mistreatment of his people, the possible murder of his nephew, his conflict with the barons that led to the signing of the Magna Carta, his massive loss of English territory, all of which are well documented, should not be overlooked. King John's actions caused immense suffering, and it's important to remember that the darker side of his rule is often seen as outweighing any achievements. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the more overlooked corners of history. May you rest easy, my friends, most likely a lot easier than King John did during his reign.